All right. Hello out there. Good evening. Welcome to another episode of the DJ, the Money Coach Financial Expert Series, brought to you by the 7 Spheres of Money. Thank you for joining us. We have another powerful special expert guest with us. DJ will introduce in just a moment. So I'll kick it over to him and we'll get this thing started. So what's going on, DJ?
Man, everything's good, man. Today is Get Over the Hump Day, baby. And what better way to get over the hump than get your style on, baby, with a fresh cut. I'm talking about the best cut in town. That's what you're going to learn about today. So, real quickly, if you don't know me, hey, man, you should know my story by now. I had a ton of debt. I had bad credit. I got turned down for a residential home loan, got turned down by small business loan, and I didn't roll over and tap out. I actually rose up like the phoenix from the ashes, and I became victorious. And I built a system called the 7 Spheres of Money, teach people how to become consumer debt free, achieve financial independence, and actually increase their credit scores, up to 100 points in 30 to 45 days or less. And we built a platform that's an encyclopedia of 136 principles of financial success to actually help you become on your way to what we call a pom-pom lifestyle. That's plenty of money and peace of mind. And we've helped over 20,000 people in 20 years get some semblance of success, either consumer debt freedom, which is our number one goal, invest in Roth IRAs, 401ks to enable them to have dignity when they retire, teach their kids how to fish by teaching them how to invest in dividend stocks, become entrepreneurs and business owners. And we've done this with churches, businesses, YMCA, the Federal Reserve, the state of Illinois Attorney General's office, the state senator's office in Michigan, Montgomery Regional Airport. Just as recently as October 19, we did all the financial education programs for them. We work with logistic companies that are worth $60 million, Lightning Logistics, work with all the independent owner-operator truck drivers. And we work with professionals like you, working class and middle class, to help you get on that pathway to success. So without further ado, we want to introduce one of my great buddies that I've been knowing for a few years. And I'm happy to tell the story because a lot of you don't realize that it ain't how you play the game, it's how you finish the game, and how you adapt to adversity shows true character. So this person today is amazing. We've been knowing each other about 4 years, and he actually has an amazing story about how he created a very successful barbershop that actually started in his home. And the great thing about it, when I met him, he was above the curve on technology, actually utilizing the internet to actually create appointments from his home to actually eliminate the expense and overhead of a regional shop. It got so great that he was backed up that it forced him to move into a bricks and mortar establishment. But prior to that, he had created a 6-figure income for himself. And you know what? A lot of people don't realize that 6-figure income puts you in the top 10% income earners in America based on the tax returns that are filed. And a lot of people think that if your group makes 6 figures, that's everybody. But actually, it's not. 20% of people in America only make $60,000 a year. And the median household income in America, that means 2 adults, 2 kids, is $56,000. 18% of the people live below the poverty line. So when somebody achieves 6 figures, that's still a major accomplishment in America. And I know people want to, be millionaires, but here's the reality is that still becoming a millionaire, even a 7-figure net worth person with no debt, that puts you in the top 5% and sometimes in the top 1% in America if you consumer debt free. So this gentleman here, his name is Avery Johnson. He owns an amazing barbershop called Faded Glory. It's in one of the most affluent areas in a suburb of Houston, Texas called the Woodlands. And he is a go-getter. He's got an amazing emotional comeback story, which I'm going to let him share with you. And we met in interpassing at doing some business together with one of his business associates. And since then, we've been good buddies. We've looked at investing in his business and worked on some ideas to help him expand. And I'm just happy and fortunate to know him and his beloved wife. So without any further ado, I want to thank Avery Johnson of Faded Glory for coming on to our platform for the Financial Expert Series with DJ the Money Coach. Avery, how you doing today, my friend?
Hey, I'm great, DJ Nick. Hey, thanks for having me on this evening, guys.
Awesome, man. So, hey, man, Avery, you got a great story. So how about we just, pick it up from, your your backstory of how you got into this business and what was the motivating factor to actually start having you doing what you do.
Well, I got into the business actually through, I guess, unexpected event or circumstance of restaurant management was my former occupation. For 26 years, I was an executive chef and a general manager with a lot of upscale restaurants, some here in Houston, some abroad. I've worked in country clubs. I've done fast food, regional manager, district manager, as an executive chef, as well as a general manager. Over the course of 26 years, I've done everything there could be done in a restaurant, from dishwasher to district manager. 2008 was the year that the bottom kind of fell out of that. I was with Steak and Ale, which some of you may remember, S&A Restaurant Group, went out of business on July 28, 2008. They laid off 10,000 employees and gave us 30 minutes notice. I got a phone call and my regional manager asked me to have a seat. And it was over the phone because I was in Louisiana, he was in Houston. And he said, hey, we're closing all the stores. The checks are in the safe. Hand out all the checks to all of the team, set the alarm, lock the doors, and call me when you're outside. That's how much notice I had, that I had no job. And they had just moved me from Houston to Louisiana about 3 months prior. So I had my back against the wall. My wife and kids had just moved. That was June. Well, they finished school in May, so they moved in June to Louisiana from Houston. And then July 28th, we needed to find out how to get back to Houston with no check. So like I said, I didn't really know what I was going to do, but I knew I was tired of going through this cycle because that was the third restaurant that had gone out of business in my 26 years.
Hey, Avery, let me interject real quickly. Nick, this is what I talk about. Remember those 3 rules in business? What rule did Avery get blindsided by? Because I gotta believe a company as large as your restaurant business was, when they brought you to Louisiana and 3 months later they basically shut down all their doors, they already knew that. So that
Absolutely.
is vile and insidious that they would take you and your family, uproot you, and then blindside you and put you out of work, man. That's crazy. So there's these 3 rules we talk about, Avery, real quick. It's called the silver rule, which most companies that are very well off, they will do the least they have to do to stay out of trouble, just to provide a service and get massive profits. That's all of America. Then there's the golden rule, which we talk about, do unto others how you want to be done unto. But then there's a platinum rule, which I coined, which talks about treat Avery and his family exactly the way they want to be treated all the time. So I just wanted to interject that. But man, continue. So I didn't even know that part of the story, man. That is amazing, brother. But go ahead.
Right. Well, so yeah, I definitely agree with that. I feel like you said, Dale, that somebody knew something. Whether or not Ed, my regional, knew or not, I don't know. But here I was with my family. My wife was looking at me like, okay, what are we going to do now? And as the head of my home, that's one of the most debilitating feelings, is to not know. So we figured out how to get back to Houston. I got back and started passing out resumes because, food service was my thing, passing out resumes all over the internet. And one recruiter told me, and I appreciate his words, I'll never forget him. He said, oh, great, another Steak and Ale manager. And it shocked me. And I looked like, oh, man, what does that mean? He said, man, right now, I need another Steak and Ale manager like I need a hole in my head.
Wow.
So 100 managers in the Houston area between Steak and Ale and Bennigan's were let go that exact same day, but they were already in the Houston market. They lived here. I was stuck out of state trying to figure out how to get back to Houston. And then, so by the time I'm passing out resumes, now the market had been mostly absorbed by the local Houston managers. So at that point, I ended up having to just take, whatever job I could get. It's how I ended up in fast food. I worked for Little Caesars for probably about 2 years. You have to start off as an assistant manager. They don't hire general managers. So I went from being a general manager in a full service restaurant to an assistant manager at a fast food restaurant.
Man, let me chime in again, Avery. So let me ask you, because that was at the beginning of the recession in our life.
Yes, sir.
Just to add context. So not only were we at the beginning of a recession, you were at the apex of general manager position in the restaurant business. About how much income ballpark were you making at the height before you got blindsided by this?
$80,000 plus bonus.
80,000. So you were easily with bonus knocking down six figures with that kind of job, right?
Absolutely.
And that's in that frame. How were you at that time, if you don't mind me asking as well, Avery?
It was 2008. So I must have been 40.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So man, you're middle-aged man, and a black man was making 80 base, which bonus, and I know how these work because my parents owned a restaurant business. Generally, that's another $20,000-$30,000 easily. And then you did what you had to do. You could have had every freaking excuse in the book to roll over with the recession, with you being blindsided, and you took the pill to take the hit for your family, and you went to go work at Little Caesars Cincinnati. So I gotta believe that income at Little Caesars couldn't have been more than 30, 40 grand.
Correct. Dead on. Absolutely. And you don't bonus as an assistant manager.
Exactly. Little Caesars was a sponsor of one of my programs, so I know their payroll structure a lot. So the reason why I'm giving this context is because people who have less challenges than you had roll over, be crying the victim role. You know, where's my stimulus check? Yada, yada, yada. But you took the victor role and created lemonade. So let's start back from there. But I just want to give people here context about why we do what we do, and we don't make excuses even when we blindside. Man, I'm so excited about what you got to share with us, Avery.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for that, Dale. All accurate. But of course, me being a man that was willing to work and do whatever it took, it didn't take long before they noticed my talent. I started stepping on some toes inadvertently, but just by me doing what I knew how to do, they promoted me pretty quickly. Within my first year of being there, I was promoted to a general manager of my own store. Within probably 6 months of that, I got promoted to the training director. So training has always been my thing, training, coaching, and developing people. So my district managers took note of that. They put me in charge of training all MITs, which is managers in training, within our district stores, which at that time I think was 8 stores. So, you know, from there, I was really feeling good about myself again. Probably wasn't making a lot more money, but probably about $60,000 a year, working more like 70 hours a week. But that's kind of normal for a restaurant manager. I mean, you know, if you got 2 off days, especially consecutive, oh man, you were living the dream. So that was what I finally got my schedule to be, where I was off, I think, Monday and Tuesdays. But so at that point, I was feeling good about life, and I just felt like, okay, I'm finally starting to see light at the end of the tunnel. Meanwhile, my oldest stepson named Damien, he wanted to be a barber, but he didn't have his barber's license. So always talking about barber. So I told him one day, I said, hey, look, why don't we go into business together? You'll be the barber and I'll be the business manager. So, you know, he talked about it. He was excited about it. That may have gone on maybe about 6, 7, 8 months that we just talked about it. Finally, it took him about 9 or 10 months to really start getting serious about looking into barber colleges. He talked to a friend of mine that was in my neighborhood that owned a barbershop. Damien got serious about trying to go to school, probably within the next 3 months, trying to go back into the timeline. Damien died. He died of diabetic related conditions. He was diagnosed as a kid with juvenile diabetes, and just his body just began to fail him. His last year of life, probably once a month, he was always in the hospital for different things, bladder infections, just sickness, couldn't hold food down. So he died. And when he died, I remember thinking, asking God, well, there goes the barbershop. And so one day I remember hearing God say, almost like I can hear you talking, DJ, saying, well, I didn't change my mind about the barbershop. So I'm thinking, like God didn't know what had happened. I'm thinking, well, who's going to be the barber? God said, you. I was like, wow. Because prior to that, I never thought that I would actually be a barber. Of course, owning a barbershop was the thing, but I was going to run the business, not cut hair. So I got to thinking about that and just like, okay, well, I'm not sure what to do with this, but just one day on a whim, I decided to go into a barber college, walked in, got a little bit of an understanding of how the process worked. And the financier started to take my information, my social. She started typing. And she wouldn't talk to me, but she's typing. So all of a sudden she looked up and she said, Mr. Johnson, can you pay $67? Because I still owed a student debt from prior years. It's probably been 10, 15 years. I still had student debt. She asked if I could pay $67. I said, well, yeah. She said, go get me a money order for $67 and come back. Still typing. Never told me what the money order was for, so I just obeyed and left. Got a money order, came back, handed her the money order. She continued typing. Then she starts printing papers. So she hands me about a stack of papers about this thick, and she says, sign here, sign here, sign here. School starts in 2 weeks. This woman had took the $67, paid off all of my former debt, student loans, and enrolled me in school while I was sitting there. I hadn't even visited the campus.
Oh,
so
man,
at this point, I'm
awesome.
going, man, has to be God, because there is no way. First of all, she took care of my loan. So whatever it was she wanted me to do, I was already in, right?
Oh, man, I love it, brother. I love it.
The campus. And at that point, I knew that, okay, I guess, God, this is what we're going to do. So quit my job, started waiting tables while I was going to school full time. The family still has to eat. Waited tables full time, still worked 40 hours a week, went to school 40 hours a week. And pretty much my wife only saw me when I came home to sleep. Went through school in 11 months, which at that time you had to do 1,500 hours in order to get your state license, in order to go take the test to get the state license.
Right. The cats coming in, you cutting their hair and passing exams and everything.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So I finished school in record time. I think 11 months was one of the fastest times they'd ever had anybody do it. Primarily, the program takes about a year and a half. There was some students that do it in 3. I was on a mission.
When God got plans for you, other ones don't matter.
Absolutely. So I knocked it out, got my license, first time passed the test. At that point, finding a barbershop is usually the first fear that every barber has. But I knew that we had a formal living room in my home that wasn't being used. I bought a $250 barber chair, set up my mirrors, my lights, and I started cutting in my dining room.
Wow.
And so I had a couple friends, you know, when you're just getting out of barber college, your friends know you're not a barber. Really, right. They know you're a restaurant guy. It's like, hey, DJ, come on, let me cut your hair.
You're gonna mess me up, but hey.
Yeah. Nobody really wanted to trust me. So it started off kind of slow. But of course, I started to really own my craft. From that point, I started to pick up, and it wasn't that I was just so busy, but I knew that I was getting more people than I was comfortable with having coming in and out of my home.
Right.
So I found a shop called Razor King Barbershop that was located in my neighborhood. Went in, a great mentor, a gentleman by the name of EJ, took me under his wing and taught me all the ways of barbering, from straight hair, curly hair, locks, how to do blends, blunt cuts, fades, straight hot towel lather shaves with straight razors. Basically everything that they kind of introduced us to in barber college, he actually showed me in real time with all diverse clientele. So I had kind of an idea that not only could you make a decent living, this man was making $300,000 a year in one shop.
And that's a big time cash business, baby.
Absolutely.
Hey, Avery, I think our audience might have missed the fact that you said diverse haircuts. So, because since we black men, they probably think you only cutting brothers' head in the hood. We chopping it up like we do at the barbershop.
Absolutely.
But the thing I like about you, brother, I mean, when I saw your shop, I'm like, damn, what are all these white people doing in here? And I knew you were getting paid. So talk a little bit about that as well, man, because don't use the word, hey, man, you cut, and that's different, man, that you cutting everybody's head, because what I see is a reverse trend where we go into the shops now and it's Hispanics cutting brothers' heads.
Absolutely. Well, I wanted to be like Walmart.
Script, baby. I love it.
I've never seen a black Walmart, Asian Walmart, a Latino Walmart. Walmart takes everybody's money, right? So I understood that if I wanted to make money in this thing, I needed to be like Walmart.
This a boss.
Absolutely. So I began automatically trying to, I knew I could kind of fade black hair. I could do my fades and tapers somewhat because I was doing those right in my home. But once I got the hang of understanding straight hair, cutting comb overs, pompadours, business A casuals, at that time, the industry, whatever happened to Brad Pitt's hair, whatever, when he did Fury, that hairstyle, that high and tight, it was just a crazy hairstyle. George Clooney, David Beckham, anything they did to their hair, that became the in style. Absolutely.
I mean, it's just like we go in and say, hey, man, let me get that Will Smith cut.
Absolutely. You and see, now it's funny you said the Will Smith cut, because that's mostly how people relate to haircuts, the Swaggy P.
Right.
And I had no idea who Nick Young was at that time. This youngster came and said, hey, I want a Swaggy P. I had to Google Swaggy P just to see what his haircut looked like, so I could translate that into something to put on this guy's head. So I love that you use that to Will Smith, because that's exactly the idiom that they speak to us in. So you have to be diverse. So I had to learn diversity. And then from there, I was able to go into the Woodlands, where I ended up finding my own. It was 100 square feet, maybe 110 square feet, a single chair shop. Basically, it was in a Villa Salon, which is a bunch of little suites of mostly hairstylists, cosmetologists,
like little strip malls, and they all
like
got
a strip mall. Absolutely, like a cubicle, basically. So I had a single chair shop for 2.5 years. Went from having probably 10 clients to getting to a point that I was open 6 days a week. I was only closed on Sundays. I was turning away 4 to 5 people every day. Woo! And it was just to a point that there was such a demand, because here's the thing, being an African-American barber, black men are going to come to me because they see a black barber. Right. When you start finding those other ethnicities that you cut their hair, how often I would talk to a white gentleman, he would say, man, I'm so glad to find a black man that can cut my hair, because I'm going to be honest, other guys can't fade like y'all can.
Stop right there. They always want our swag and our culture all the freaking time.
Absolutely.
And Nick, check this out. Now, everybody said he's like Walmart, but he is the Nordstroms of haircuts, brother. I'm talking about this brother get premium dollars. That's why I loved him when I first met him. I was like, wait, hold up. You charging what? And they paying this? I was like, oh, I love it. I love it.
Right.
So, Avery, with that said, brother, tell us about that technology that you were ahead of that enabled you to get all those appointments, in addition to having the swag and charging them a premium because you knew what your work was. Oh, man, I love this, Avery.
Well, Style Seat was probably just getting started just as I was getting started. Actually, the lady who started it came from, I think, the cosmetology industry. And she was just kind of new. They sent me an email, and most barbers, I think at that time, were using an app known as Booksy, right? But Booksy did not have the back office that Style Seat had. Me coming from a background of working in full service restaurant with profit and loss statements and understanding how the minutia of business is regulated, I loved Style Seat's back office. They had financials from historical data. I could look month to month, not only know how much I made in sales, but to know how many basic haircuts I cut, how many eyebrow trims I cut, what that, how that expanded into money. So I had basically a P&L statement for my restaurant.
I got a big smile on my face, because remember we were talking about investing. I said, hey, Avery, I need A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. I need your P&Ls. I need this. And you were dealing with a business. Then he turned, I got those, DJ. I was like, oh, wait a minute. I ain't never got a barber to get this stuff prepared like this.
Absolutely. It was one of those things that a press of a few buttons and what's your email address? And I was able to just import it and send it to them. Right. Absolutely.
Just like that. I said, man, we got a winner here, baby. Winner, chicken dinner, as they say in Vegas.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, Style Seat, the thing that I loved about not only was their back office, but they had a real niche about customer service. When a client leaves my chair, I never have to touch cash. We don't even talk about how much the haircut costs, because they have already booked in advance. So they haven't paid, their card hasn't been charged, but they have to book with a valid credit card. So after the service ends, Style Seat automatically charges their card. It automatically sends them a follow-up to review. If you liked your service, let Avery know. It was also a built-in feature that they had then, that after about 3 weeks to a month, they would send them a reminder, hey, it's time for your next haircut with Faded Glory Barbershop. All of this was done without me having to lift a finger. I would have clients say, hey, man, I booked my next appointment. I got your email, and I remembered I needed to come see you. So now I'm having to act like, oh, yeah, the email I sent. I had no idea about the emails, but that was all Style Seat's doing back office, that it was really like having a virtual assistant that I didn't have to pay, because it used to be free. Style Seat was absolutely free when they first started.
Well, that's how they hook you.
Right, absolutely. Now, their catch was, if they referred a new client, they would take 50% of whatever that initial service was.
Oh, okay.
That was how they made their money. Only that first time. So once that client came back second, third, fourth time, that was all on me. Okay. After being with them about 2 years, they started charging. They still charge. Their fee is only $35 a month. For me, that's one haircut.
Oh man.
So you mean I get to keep all of these services that you guys have, and I'm only paying basically one haircut a month takes care of paying them.
Wow.
So fast forward to now, actually, I'm a Style Seat ambassador, which they take their best guys that are performing the best and have the best service, and they help them become the preferred server. So I'm an ambassador now with Style Seat.
Success story.
Absolutely. So that's Style Seat. They can pay me later. They can cut the check.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm definitely a fan of Style Seat.
Man, that's amazing. So what year was this, Avery?
That was 2015 when I opened. They were just I started in October. They may have started like January or February of 2015. They were just getting started.
So your first year in business, what would you say you made ballpark?
What? Say the question. Say it again.
Your first year in business, what would you say you made ballpark?
Oh, I know that. 36,000.
36,000. Second year.
Now that's October. That's from October
to December.
Right. 36,000.
Second year business.
Second year business was 4850, something like that. That was for the year.
Third year in business.
72,000.
72. Fourth year in business.
116.
116. Reason why I'm asking you that, because here's what I tell people, Avery. I said anybody that has captured what's called the hedgehog concept.
Okay.
And we talked about. I talked to you about good to great, and what I've come to find out.
Right.
Is that if you know your passion, you know your niche in any industry, you could be number one at, and your economic engine that drives people to you, which is Style Seat.
Absolutely.
In 3 years, by putting a plan, a goal, and running accountability and discipline in a system, you'll make 6 figures. You did it in 3.5, but really, it's really 3 because you only worked 2 months, 2.5 months, October to December. But in your third full year, you were making 6 figures.
Absolutely.
Now from there, man, you actually got bigger than that, man. Talk about when you blew up Snap and what was the premises behind the secret sauce that actually put you where you had to go get a full bore, nice, sophisticated shop and start adding before the pandemic coming. Man, I'm so excited about this story because this can happen to anybody who don't get in and has a passion and know the plan that God has for them. So talk to us about that, man. I'm so excited about this story.
Well, I got to a point, as I said, as I was turning away 4 or 5 people every day. My wife was saying, long before it hit me that, hey, you need to do something. I was just reveling in the fact that, hey, I was successful and we could afford to take vacation.
Right.
I got to a point where I started looking around at available places, just kind of not sure if I could afford it, very afraid to try to make that leap, but I was just uncertain. So I used to walk to lunch every day in the strip center, and there's about 3 or 4 restaurants in my walking distance. So I would walk to Papa's Barbecue, which was probably about the distance of 150 yards. Would walk. Hold on one second, baby. Let me plug this battery up.
Man, dude, I mean,
battery's about
it's a great story, man. It's amazing that you can go in your middle age, start over, and God bless you tenfold by you just being faithful.
Yes, sir.
And not giving in. I mean, because
Absolutely.
when your wife was getting mad because you turn away 4 or 5 customers a day, she's doing the math, I'm doing the math. Like, dang, that man, dude, that's like 120 customers a month. But
I wasn't doing the math yet. That's you numbers, guys. Absolutely. Because
you were feeling good about your situation,
right?
Because, like you said, you can now take some vacations. You can take care of your family where you're supposed to take care of, and now you start getting a little bit of peace. A lot of stress starts falling off your shoulders. But now it's time to multiply because when you and I talked, I said, "Hey, Avery, what happens if I give you my money and something happens to Avery? I need to know Avery got a system that actually continues to go without Avery being plugged in and doing the work."
Absolutely. So that was where that walk to Papa's one day. There was a building next door to Palata's Italian Restaurant, which has been in that same strip center 30 years. It's a staple in the community right here in the Woodland. Right next door to them, there was a place that became vacant. I walked by, stuck my head to the glass, looked in. It looked good, but I was still afraid, right? Went, got lunch, came back. As soon as I got back to the shop that next day and the next couple of days, I started turning away more people. It wasn't just 4 or 5 a day. It seemed like that day it might have been a couple phone calls like, hey, plus I had, hey, I'm on my way, and I just couldn't get everybody. And I felt overwhelmed, but I knew that was God saying, you really need to look at making a change. So I did the math. At that point, when I did 4 to 5 people a day that I was turning away at $25, that's $100, $125 a day. So then you start doing that 5 days a week, you're at over 500, you're at $2,000. I was at $2,000 a month that I could count that I was turning away.
So that means you would lose even more.
Right, absolutely. That I was sending, they were going somewhere in my neighborhood to get a haircut, but why not me? At that point, I added the math that I was already spending on rent, the $2,000 that I was sending away. And all of a sudden, it's like, I don't know what that space down there is going to rent for, but I'm probably almost making rent now if I capture that I'm turning away and add it to what I'm already bringing to my bottom line. So I had a little confidence now that I could actually afford to pay more. Now I had a quantitative number on what that number could be.
Your light bulb moment was that fear of loss, because you probably figured out you probably were losing $50,000 to $60,000 a year minimum.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when I started going to look in, it was funny because when I talked to the realtor, called her on the phone, and she asked what kind of business I was wanting to open. I told him a barbershop, and you could hear that she could tell that I was Black, but I wasn't hood. But her concern was that I'm opening a Black barbershop, which historically, the connotation of the Black barbershop, I got loud music out in front, dudes smoking joints out on the front. And, it was a lot of unsavory type things that they didn't want in the Woodlands.
Right.
So she was very concerned. Well, I don't know about a barbershop. She started asking about clientele. I immediately said, listen, let me send you some information on my shop. I went to everything that I had at that time, which was ready to grab because we were #1 on Google. We were #1 on Yelp. I have pictures all over my site of all the diverse haircuts, and the reviews are all raving about Faded Glory Barbershop. At that point, it was just
let me chime in again, Avery. This is the sad part. She would have never asked a white man that.
Absolutely.
And here's where institutional racism impacts us. And when people say there's no racism, there's no privilege, that immediately would have put most people, unlike you, would have got discouraged and been like, oh, okay, even though you had a diverse clientele, you would have been like, man, this probably ain't gonna work. So let me just keep doing what I'm doing in my little box, make my little money, and keep going. But those little subtleties is what we got to eliminate. So thank goodness, I just interviewed Dr. Randall Pinkett.
Okay.
And he wrote a book called Black Faces in White Spaces.
Wow.
And it talks about excellence in us, that we're usually only in white environments, white businesses that are making it happen. And then we got to compromise who we are as Black people to make them feel better. But you didn't have to do that because you already had the book lined up, and then you put it in front of her. So now finish telling the story. But I need to let our people know this is not an exception to the rule. This happens all the freaking time.
All the time.
You're not prepared like you were, Avery. Your dream would have been stolen subtly. Not come in and say we don't want you, but I don't know what is it like. But she didn't know you were a class act and you were GQ. So fill us in, brother.
Absolutely. So once I sent her the reviews, once she could see my clientele, my haircuts, how I dressed, there was pictures there of me in my traditional barber's uniform with the suspenders and all in bow ties, and all of a sudden she was okay. Well, sure. Set up an interview. The lady named Judy, I forget Judy's last name. Judy came out, and of course I was waiting on her by the time she got there. Of course, that was probably some stereotype that Black people always late.
One of the 4 Ps, Nick. What did I say? He was already early to the appointment. When I met him,
yes, sir. Absolutely. I was there waiting. Absolutely, waiting on him. Sitting there waiting. She took me in, showed me around. I love the place. The funniest thing happened while we were there. One of my clients that was from my little single chair shop walked by, and he was heading to Papa's. He saw me, knocked on the glass, and this little 55, 60-year-old white man walked by, saw me looking, was like, I couldn't have paid this man to have better timing.
Oh, man.
He said, oh, man, you looking at moving? And I hadn't even told anybody yet, but the excitement on his face and on her seeing an actual client, absolutely, that I could tell she was wanting me in there as bad as I wanted to be in. So we talked numbers a little bit. She said, okay, I need to see your financials. And of course, here again, as you said earlier, DJ, that's where most of us get caught up because most barbers don't report all their income. I record everything. So when she started asking for sales reports and summaries and P&L statements and all the financials that most businesses need to show.
And she wasn't even thinking you were going to have that.
Correct.
She probably had a blank look on her face when you popped it up. Was like,
absolutely.
But if you were white, she would have expected that you would have had it. That's the sad part.
Right. Wow. Sent it to her. I don't even think it was a week before they got back to me and said, hey, okay, when you want to get keys, we need first, last security deposit. Here's CAM. All the money talk had to happen. Once that was agreed upon, they sent over the lease information, signed that, and hey, October 5th, 2015, I got keys. And no, 2015 is when I got my first set of keys. When I moved into my new space, it was November 2018.
Yeah, 2018. Right.
2018.
When I got keys. The time after that.
Right. Absolutely. Got keys, man. Went in. I may even have some pictures here on my phone. We find a couple of them.
Yeah, I'm saying, man, we got to see some pictures of this beautiful shop. I mean, I got pictures I do in one of my presentations talking about you because I'm so proud about your success and the way we've been working together. So, man, you got to show people pictures of Faded Glory, the shops, the cuts, of the guys in the chair. I mean, his place is first class personified, Nick.
Well, here is what. Let me see if I can find my right angles. That's not gonna show well.
Yeah, it's kind of bright. You got to move it to your right, my left, and bring it up a little bit closer to the camera.
Let me see.
Probably in front of your face, Avery, and it'll be centered up. There you go. Yeah. So put it closer. Put it straight forward. Push it straight forward. There we go. Right there. Hold it right there.
Okay, y'all can see that okay?
Yep, we can see that perfectly.
Okay, so that was the first shot. I got a glare. I don't know if y'all have one.
Yeah, that one right there has got a glare. The first two didn't.
Okay, so this one is what it looked like when I got it.
Okay.
Let me see.
Yeah, it's not moving to the way you want it to go now. It ain't moving at all. It's like it's froze.
Okay, so let's see. We started painting the walls, red wall, a bit of happening there.
This man put his blood, sweat, and soul into the shop, man. You see the after pictures, Nick, is gonna be amazing.
This one is really important. I hope y'all can see this without any glare.
Yep, I can see the floor.
Okay, so now the blue tape on the floor, that was my chairs, the ones that are closer to the center of the room. Those are where my chairs were gonna go. I had it spaced out to make sure I had enough for my stations. As you go back towards the wall, there's rectangular blue. That's where my stations were gonna go. Then on the wall, you'll see a little sheet metal. That was what I was trying to mess with, design ideas. Then on the wall itself, my mirrors, I had everything laid out how I wanted it so that I could see what the shop would look like before I ever brought the first piece of furniture in there.
Okay.
Went through, let's see, that's an up close.
Okay, yeah, I see that.
Mm-hmm. So got my first piece of furniture, welcome station. It was an old a bar that I wanted to use as my welcome counter where my receptionist would be and where they would sign in. So got that in place. One of the stations.
Okay.
Right.
Oh man, nice and classic, traditional look.
I was doing the work myself. Y'all can see it. I was in there. I put the wall up. That wall was what is it? Pallets. That was different pallets that I cut and put in. That was the finished pallet.
Wow.
I was working on. So
you can't stop a man with a dream, Nick.
My chairs arrived. That was my grandson there, helping put the chairs in, getting that together. That was what the chairs looked like finished.
Oh, there's some nice looking chairs, baby.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
I told you.
Coming to pass.
These Nordstroms.
Yeah, man.
The barber industry. So show us the full layout, the pictures that I have.
Let me see. Oh, I know what I can do.
Yeah, man. This is what I'm talking about. I mean, most people would have laid down, rolled over, Nick, be looking for the welfare check, and
Yes, sir.
Nah, not Avery. not even remotely. He dug in, baby.
Hey, man, I appreciate the love, DJ.
Putting that work in, brother. Man, I'm excited for you, brother.
I'm trying to scroll through the pictures I sent you because I got videos and stuff up on YouTube, tours.
Yeah, so you got a YouTube channel too, right?
Yeah, if you go to YouTube and type in Faded Glory Barbershop, then you'll see about 3 or 4 of my promotional videos.
Okay.
You'll find those in there. I'm trying to find one good looking one of the finished.
Let's make sure we find that link. Nick,
yeah.
Put that in the description box, man.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, okay, cool. Here's one. Okay, so this one was us real time.
Yeah. Move it over to your right. Your right, right there. Yep. Now push it closer to the camera. There we go. Look at that, Nick. Tight. Man, that is working. That's nice, brother.
Yeah, man, that's us working. This was one recently. This was probably.
That's the shot we do on our presentation when I'm talking about your establishment.
Yes, sir.
Classy right there, baby.
Yes, sir. That was us working. One of my clients here.
Yep. I got that one too.
Yes, sir. Oh, so that now that's some of the work.
Ain't that one on Yelp or something?
Yeah, this was on Yelp. Aaron's like my one of my poster child.
Okay. Dude. Man, he could do it. Did you add the extra stuff, or did the pandemic prevent you from adding the pedicure?
No, I haven't added that yet for those reasons. Yeah. Yep, haven't been able to add that yet. But
finish that. Tell us the apex, because you went further past 160, brother. You and tell about how you expanded, brother.
Well, so I expanded the shop, opened up, and let's see. At that point, I think I may have opened with me and 2 other guys. Excuse me. We got to a part where that bench on one of those last pictures. We were on a wait. I was booked out on appointments because I've been appointment only since I opened. Right. My barbers were doing walk-ins only. That was a day that we had people waiting outside. The benches were full. People were outside on the front 2 benches and sitting in their car waiting. My 2 barbers were really just, they were ready to quit. I mean, the look in their eyes, you could see it. It wasn't about money. It was about, I don't want to cut another head. And so I knew it was a great feeling of reward and success. And so we got to a place now where I think I had, at the most I've had, is me and 3 other guys. So 4 is the number that we're at now. We haven't been at 4 in 16 months. So we're back to 4 now. And I got one more guy that I interviewed. I'm waiting to see what his final, thoughts are, because he visited a couple other places. But so go ahead.
No, I was going to say, the thing I'm excited about, you actually have a system that's duplicatable. And
yes.
This is where we actually came to the table and talked about open up a duplication of your business.
Right.
And franchise it. And I know that's still on the table between us, because it was just a timing thing. But
absolutely.
But some of the things, share with you personally had something like 400 clients yourself personally. And give us the idea of some of your services, some of your top service to your entry service, because I want to show them, because I do this training where I talk about 3 business models. Where I talk about Walmart, Target, and Nordstrom.
Okay, so let me see if this will show.
Yeah, you got to move to your right a little bit, my left. Right there. Yeah, there you go. So he get a pie chart. He knows everything about his business, Nick. This is a business that is duplicatable and franchisable. So if you're watching this interview right now with Avery Johnson, the founder and the creator of Faded Glory, and you're interested in getting into the barber business, you need to contact us. First, you need to like this interview. You need to share it and subscribe. And then you need to contact us, and you contact us, real easily. Check that out. Look at that. Man, he got all his information.
So that 89% of returning, that's
Man,
a big deal, right?
That is huge.
Yes, sir.
Major retention.
Yes, sir.
Major satisfaction, happy customers. Because here's what I tell people about personal services. The first time you're going to meet anybody, dude, they going to roll out the red carpet, do everything for you, get your money, get that big tip. And then as you start coming in more and more, when they start applying that silver rule and start slacking, they're going to expect to charge you more and give you less service and less customer treatment.
Absolutely.
Avery
Absolutely.
does exactly the opposite, Nick. He flips the script and keep giving more and more and more of the platinum rule, where people start telling people about his business because he don't have the cheapest service in town.
Yes, sir.
And rightfully so. He is the Nordstrom. And here's what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. So Walmart means we sell a bunch of stuff cheap to the masses. But everybody can't play that game because you got to have deep pockets and you got to have deep distribution capability to do that. Very low margin in that business. But then there's Target. Target mimics Nordstrom's, where they'll give you high quality looking stuff, but it ain't the #1 name brand at the highest quality, but it's far better than Walmart.
Right.
And that's what most middle class people like to shop at, because if I got on something that looked like it came from Nordstrom's or Gucci, you can say I got it at Target.
Right.
But Nordstrom's, they'll sell you a hat like you and I got on for $500, and they may only pay $20 to make it, but it's the highest quality. But the thing about Nordstrom's, Nick, and is I could take that hat back 3 years later without even receipt with the Nordstrom's name in it. They give me a refund, no questions asked.
Right, absolutely.
That's what you got and find out what your hedgehog concept is. So, Nick, what Avery figured out is he is the Nordstrom's of hair care providing services, not for blacks, but for everybody in a professional area, man. So I ain't gonna steal no more of your thunder. Chime right back in, Avery.
Trying to give y'all some work now. I heard about it. So let's see if I can go the right way.
Oh man, look at these cuts, man. These are sweet, tight. Look at that.
Go this other way.
Yeah, it's not. You gotta move it again, Avery. But you
okay.
What Avery is practicing
transformation.
4 P's, man. Professionalism, persistence, perseverance, and he's producing at a highest level. Man, look at the styles. Oh man.
Before and after.
Wow. How long does it take to cut locks out and give a person a good haircut?
I like to take probably an hour.
Okay.
Because it's going to take you a good 15 minutes just to get the locks cut off of their head. And then you're going to cut them down to an even head of hair, and then whatever hairstyle they're wanting from there. But
wow. Man, these are some tight cuts, baby. Tight cuts. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Wow. Look at that. And you killing the other guys because they coming in, they want to get that fresh urban style that only a brother can do the right way.
Yes, sir.
Oh
yes, sir.
Man, I loved it. I loved it. Look at that. That's a tight cut on him. Nice cut.
Yes, sir. A little basic.
You're telling me you get some pretty nice tips too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, talk to us about that, because there's one thing that had me hysterical, because I'm notoriously cheap. I like expensive things at cheap prices. I don't like cheap stuff at cheap prices. But hey, tell them kind of tips you be getting, man, with these expensive, high quality cuts, man.
Well,
man, making a killing, and he earning every dollar unapologetically as a top tier, probably best in class in the Houston area. Talk to us, Avery. You don't have to tell us a lot, but just give people an idea of what being personified greatness is all about.
Well, people talk, but I think you can't argue with these numbers.
Damn, you see that? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I mean,
how many cuts you be getting like that?
So
man, Nick, man, it's time for me to quit my job and go into barbershop business.
Oh no! I need you right where you are, sir.
Man,
I need you right where you are.
Wait a minute. How many cuts y'all do a month?
Well, I mean, prior to pandemic, I was at 300.
Oh snap, Nick. You know we like numbers. You know.
Now everybody
like
of course doesn't show me that kind of love. But now that's a new client. That's not even, one of my regular guys.
Woo!
Yeah, that's a new client, first time. But then there are those that are, let's see, because I can go through each service and show you, like for instance, this guy, Hector. So a basic haircut. Sometimes you have, those that are in between. Let me see.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right, no tip included. Right.
Okay.
But just like there's a Hector, you have
still,
guys.
Though, you getting a premium price because I go get my haircut. I'm proud to say I only paid like $15 for my haircut. So you getting twice. And how long does it take for you to take your time to do it right? Because do you have that down to a science?
What's that?
Do you have the time element down to a science as well, Avery?
Well,
you have great clips
because I'm on appointments.
20 minutes.
Because I'm on appointments, I have to have it down, because if your appointment is from 9 to 9:45, there's another appointment at 9:45.
Wow.
So I have it down, because if I don't, then I'm going to be, I really won't have appointments. Yeah, absolutely. And the minute barbers, that's the reason most people leave their barber, is because they had an appointment and they still end up waiting 2 hours like everybody else.
I've left cats that were good to me and think I'm going to wait 20, 30 minutes. I might do it once, but I damn sure ain't doing it twice.
Absolutely. So you have to have a system. So when I have a basic haircut is like a taper fade, like what I wear now, right? It's 1.5, even all over, and then you taper the sides and the back. That's a basic haircut. That's $30, right? Edge it up. That's $30. It takes 25 to 30 minutes, right? Wow. If you're going something like a mohawk, a South of France, something like that, like Usher wears, or like some of your celebrities wear, that's going to be 45 minutes, and that's a $35 haircut. That doesn't include beard trim. Like Nick has a nice little goatee from what I can see going. When you book a haircut, that's 30 minutes. A goatee, it automatically adds 15 minutes for a goatee or beard trim. So you have 45 minutes now to give Nick a full service. $5 eyebrow trim, that's 5 minutes. So every service you add to your booking, it allocates the time that I can select and preset how much that service takes. And so there's no way that somebody can overbook, that if Nick books a haircut, that there's no way that DJ can book a haircut that infringes on Nick's time. Okay. Because it's dynamic. As each person books, it closes that window. So the next available window is the next place somebody can book.
So here's my question to you, because I'm thinking expansion and master duplication.
Right.
So, number one, do you provide these services to train other people to do that, where you are a consultant type person? And I saw this guy on YouTube that shows the cuts and everything, and he's got like 100,000 followers, bro. And I gotta believe that that's got to be the next level for you as well, because they'll pay you in the pandemic just to train everything you just said about how to do the service right. Because you made two things. I have this acronym called STEAM. Okay. S for science, T is for technology, the E is for entrepreneurship, the A is for access, but the M is for mentorship. And you said one key thing. You went to the barber college, they told you how to do it, but then you met this guy that showed you actually how it works in real time at a professional level. And what you just showed with us is you just explained to us in less than 60 seconds how all these cuts are done properly without infringing on time in a system, which is the magic you said. So I'm thinking about it twofold, Avery. I'm thinking about one, expansion again to the shops we were talking about. We were going to invest in you. Two, being a consultative trainer to teach other barbers how to figure this out, pay you $500-700 an hour because you drop down and give them the science with a booklet to show them how to put it in place, and then you come in periodically and help them tighten it up.
Absolutely. That's the game, and that's honestly, it's a natural thing that I'm inclined to do as a coach and trainer. All of my barbers, not only do I coach them, there's a new guy that I just brought in named Jarvis. Jarvis has dreadlocks halfway down his back, but Jarvis also does dreadlocks. So there's probably once a quarter, we try to have a symposium where we teach internally. So Jarvis is going to have the next symposium that he's teaching all of us how to do dreadlocks.
You need to be doing that live on YouTube, brother. Instagram.
I got you.
And that would expand your horizon. Then you can start selling them the services over the internet where you ain't never got to have them come in the shop, brother.
That's next level. That's next level.
Talking about that because that's next level.
Absolutely.
And the reason why I say that is because I was already online since 2015, and 90% of my business is online. I don't even. I have never met Nick in person, and he's been my business manager for almost a year.
Wow.
And know why, Avery? Because he came through my system online. He saw the proof in the pudding of how I helped him get his credit right, pay off his debt, and get him in position to invest in business. And he was so well qualified, I needed his help, brought him on the team. And because of the pandemic, we never met. But I'm feeling it.
Wow.
That's awesome. That, brother.
That's awesome.
So your business is service, but it needs to be consultative, where you can maximize the leverage of the internet of your teaching. And
no doubt.
That people can buy and hook up with you and go on your calendar or your style sheet and just book a consultation to actually start in the industry.
No doubt.
You see what I'm saying, bro?
You're right. Yes,
sir.
If
I didn't know you for 3-4 years, I wouldn't give you that for free because I would charge.
You already know the address. So I know the check, the invoice is on the way. Yes, sir.
So tell the people how we met and what we were doing together, and we were right there, and we still gonna do something. So talk a little bit about that, and we're gonna wrap this up because I don't want to take too much time, and I'm gonna bring you back on because what I would like to be able to do in the future world, if you would agree, I would like to do a webinar with you, man, and talk to people about the barber industry and how to get started, how to find the right people, and how to master duplicate. And then we provide people with a service, and then maybe we could just bring you on once a month and just talk about everything faded glory.
Okay. Wow. Cool. Okay. How DJ and I met was actually with a mutual friend of ours that.
Yeah. So hold on one second, because a lot of people don't think I'm the real deal when it comes to business. That's the reason why I want you to share with them your story. Talk to them about it.
Woo. Okay. So, Shark Tank. Who's the one? Mr. Wonderful. That's DJ in real time. I've seen it. He's a guy that knows his numbers. He's unfiltered as far as if that's a bunch of BS, he's going to tell you in so many words, or maybe even those words, depending on the setting, that, hey, man, what you're talking about doesn't make sense. We were in a meeting that a friend of ours was walking us into, like, it was probably 6 of us. And we walked into this potential investor, and they were rolling out why our mutual friend was supposed to invest with this group. And of course, we came in all suited, and everybody sharp, on point, and professional.
We were up.
But everybody has their field of expertise. And so we owned the room before we ever even sat down. It was obvious we were in charge, right? So as they began to talk about numbers and why this was a great deal, DJ, the money coach, began to undress them in front of the entire room. And of course, they began to stutter and hem and haw and try to, and while they were still stuttering, he was hitting them with some more body blows, uppercuts, to a point that they were embarrassed. I mean, we really, honestly, if he had not been with us, we would have tamed him down. Hey, come back down, bro. Bro, you killing them. I mean, it was a homicide, really. In a business forum, it was a homicide. But we all kept straight faces and, very proud to be in that room. It was a really powerful meeting. I'm more of a laid back person. I'm not going to necessarily tell you that what you're talking about doesn't make sense. I'm just going to nod and say, yeah, okay, thank you, leave, and you'll never probably hear from me again. So I learned a lot in not only his assertiveness, but his honesty. He's helped me a lot over the years with his brutal honesty, that I'm at a point in my life that I don't need yes men. I need coaches. I need real-time advice, real stuff that's going to help me. And so I think I'm probably a couple years older than DJ, but his wisdom far exceeds his years, and his business acumen far exceeds mine. And so I take what he has to say to heart. And so that's what he brought to the table then and what he continues to bring now. So, yeah.
Man, hey, man, that's humble. I appreciate them kind, sincere words, Avery.
Yes,
sir. That's what it was about, Nick, is that it was a great deal on surface, and this friend that was a mutual friend of mine asked me to come in and give my point of view as a business person, because they were about to do that deal.
Right.
And I was like, oh no, dude, this don't add up. This don't add up. And I was like, I'm gonna blow my reputation just to not rock the boat, and then I'm gonna blow a relationship with 2 dudes that I've been knowing for a long time. I said, it ain't worth that. So I'm gonna cut it and slice it, and you prove me I'm wrong, and then we'll keep going. but the deal
Right.
ended up being a bad deal.
Absolutely.
And that created better relationship between all of us.
We're all still solid.
Started doing some major deals. And matter of
Right.
fact, our partner went on tour with me and did some major deals with me at some major conferences, and we made a killing.
Right. That's right. That's
Yeah,
right. True.
It was amazing. So what are you excited about in 2021, and what are you grateful for in 2021, given that the pandemic started in 2020, but it hasn't slowed the pace down for you? And what could you share with somebody that looks like us, that needs to be able to not be one dimensional, only service us, because business is green. But being a Black businessman is important to have character, integrity, and professionalism, which you showed that lady and you showed all your customers. So share that with us, and we will wrap it up. And I won't embark on any more your time today, but I will get you in the future as well, Avery.
Absolutely. Well, what I'm excited most about for 2021 is every day people come in and they'll ask, well, how's business? It's amazing how society is more aware that the small business is a pillar in our community. I get asked that question so much now that I expect it. My response is usually been, hey, we're still here. We're still open. It's another month that, March 1st hit, and I'm all the more excited because it was actually March 11th, 2020, when they shut us down for 6 weeks. Wow. So I'm getting close to being able to hit that milestone. I can't wait till March 12th and still be open. So I'm excited. It's a mental victory, but I'm excited to be able to still be standing because I'm in the Woodlands and there are businesses that are Fortune 500 companies that closed.
Yep, I know about it.
That when one of the vice presidents of Anadarko is a client of mine, and they're literally, I can see his building from my barbershop out the window. He came in and they were about to lay off, he might have said 400 or 500 people. He came in and he was really kind of, it was weighing heavy on him. And so he told me about it, that they were going to have to, let some people go. They let those people go. And he retired the month after they let those people go. Of course, his pension was safe. He was in good shape.
He's good.
But just to be able to see that and know firsthand how it happened to me in 2008, like you alluded to earlier, DJ, that somebody somewhere knew it was coming and didn't tell me. So I watched this man let go of 400 or 500 people and then retire the next month. And he's living, the high life. But I'm excited to be able to have survived it. And so I'm looking forward to now thriving because every day we do add 1 or 2 new clients. So if you take 365 days and now add, well, minus being closed on Sundays, but you add a client a day, let's say 1 client. If I've added 365 clients since we closed for the pandemic, plus the 40% that we haven't seen because of the pandemic, we don't have enough chairs. I don't have enough space to accommodate the influx of people when they decide, let's go get a haircut now.
Oh, man.
So that day, I'm excited, but I'm also trying to plan, okay, what are we going to do? We already kind of know how to have people sit in their cars and we call them in when they're ready. I already have 2 or 3 barbers. I'm always hiring. Barbers call me and they'll ask, hey, you have any, they usually say, do you have any chairs for rent? And I say, yes, when can you come in and interview? And I have my wife or other people that'll say, hey, why are you interviewing?
Hey,
I'm always interviewing.
Exactly.
Because I have a phone list full of barber prospects that my bench is always deep, because just in case somebody decides they want to leave, I'm going to this one little section in my phone, barber prospects. Wow. And I have their name and I have their phone number, and the list goes on and on and on.
Constantly filling his pipeline, Nick.
So that I can always pick up the phone and call and say, hey, remember when you talked to me back in June? Are you still looking for a new shop? So I'm trying to get myself in position for when the floodgates open, and just do the best I can.
We're going to do that, man.
Yes, sir.
I told you, we're going to be in business sooner than later, Avery.
Absolutely.
Really, because I love that industry. And brother, there's so many other things you can do. I mean, you already met a story of my partner. She's blowing up. So there's a lot of things we can do online, mobile, that would basically take you to the next level, brother. So I'm excited about it. What we usually do at our show is Nick gives a summarization of what he's learned out of it, because what I'm doing, just like you, I'm actually creating an apprenticeship relationship so the next generation can come on and keep this thing going for our legacy. Because at the end of the day, all you're doing, man, gives glory to your son, and the faded glory is what that's all about, brother. I'm so happy, so proud to be your friend, brother. Straight up.
Man, you too, bro. Thank you, bro.
So Nick, man, give us your summary, big dog. Tell us what we got here with this awesome friend of mine, phenomenal business owner in the Woodlands.
Yeah. I mean, just listening to Avery talk about the systems that he has in place, and how DJ, like you said, his business is duplicatable, and just looking at his use of technology, you can really tell that he's been applying those lessons and those principles that you teach, not just to him, but to all of our members and partners, about how to really do business and do business the right way. And just thinking about that technology piece, I know, speaking from experience, when I was still going to the barbershop, I would rather pay premium for convenience rather than pay less for the inconvenience. So, being able to book online and pay electronically, because we're cashless now, paychecks are direct deposit. It's inconvenient for me to have to go to the ATM or go to the store to get cash back, so I can pay for my haircut, and in 2020, 2021, there's still a lot of barbershops that only accept cash. So I would rather pay, $20, $25, $30, for the convenient payment, rather than just paying, $15 and have to get cash.
Right.
So, and I'm assuming that there's a lot of folks out there with the same mindset, so
absolutely.
That's definitely a game changer, so salutes to you for your journey, from the ground up, building everything, actually putting in the work yourself, rolling up your sleeves, putting in your work yourself. And we're excited about where you're going to go from here. So thank you again for giving us your time and joining us on the program. And I'll kick it back over to DJ to wrap it up.
Yeah. So hey, we're basically concluding. So again, Avery, give us your contact information to the people out here. Tell them where the shop is, what's the number to the shop, and the website, if you will, please, sir.
Okay. My name is Avery Johnson. I'm the owner of Faded Glory Barbershop in the Woodlands. We're at 27622 I-45 North. It's a Conroe address, but we're right across the freeway from the Woodlands Mall. If you're at the Woodlands Mall, say at Dick's Sporting Goods, and you look across the freeway, you'll see a strip center with Papa's Barbecue, Palada's Italian Grill. I'm right next door to Palada's Italian Grill. You can't miss us. We have been in business there 5 years, and we take walk-ins as well as appointments. For walk-ins, you don't have to call ahead. You just come in. We're open 6 days a week. The only day we're closed is on Sundays, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day, except for Saturdays. We open at 7 a.m. instead of 9, and we close at 5 p.m. You can do a walk-in any day, anytime. We cut all ages from 1 to 101 years old. First haircut, it doesn't matter to us. We cut all ethnicities. They call it the big chop. A lot of people that have had COVID hair and haven't seen a barber since February of last year, we do the big chop. If you want to come in, don't worry about that. You don't have to apologize for you haven't been to the barbershop. We know that's called job security for barbers, actually. So you can come on in anytime. If you choose to book an appointment, you book online. I'm the only barber currently that takes appointments. My other barbers cut walk-ins, so we can kind of take care of the best of both worlds. If you would like to book an appointment, you book online at my website. If you Google Faded Glory Barbershop, Google will take you to the link of my barbershop. but I'm going to show you here just 1 second that you can book at this link. It's www.
There you go. Yeah, move it to your right.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. www.styleseat.com//faded glory. That's www.styleseat.com/faded glory.
Is there a number? Is there a number, Avery, to the shop? I don't think you gave us the number.
Oh, I'm sorry. The phone number. Really, the shop has a business phone number.
Okay.
But most of the time, everybody calls my personal cell number. I like to talk to people. I don't like my recorder to talk to people. So you'll get a live voice.
Perfect.
Yes, sir. It's 832-652-9509. You can call me day or night. Don't be concerned. Well, it's 11 p.m. I answer on off days. I answer on Christmas. I get people calling on Christmas. Hey, man, what time y'all open? So don't be afraid to ring that phone. My wife is very understanding. She knows that that's what I want to do. I want to always be the voice that you hear and not a recording. I think that's what's missing in the world today, that personal touch.
Exactly. I always tell, hey, with that said, Avery, I always tell people that you will always be able to get me. What's one of the separators between all the other big boys? You always getting somebody on their team. You never meet them unless you dropping $5,000-$10,000. Me,
yes, sir.
I'm gonna always be approachable to my people because that's what it's all about. So,
yes, sir.
Hey, with that said, I want to thank for my host, Nick Westbrooks, the moderator, and I want to thank our special guest, Avery Johnson, the founder and creator of Faded Glory in honor of his son. An amazing story that he has. He's going to come back on. We're going to do a webinar with him, and we're going to talk about other things. I'm DJ the Money Coach, and we end it the same way all the time. We wish you a pom-pom lifestyle. That's plenty of money, peace of mind, and we want you to come join us on the beaches of the World Club. And your beach don't have to be an ocean. It's wherever your freedom and peace of mind is. We thank you, and we'll see you next time. God bless.